I bought a whole box load of stuff to take away with me on my camping trip, and one of the first things I opened up was this multi-tool axe 14-in-1 camping tool. It comes in this holster with a strap so you can attach it to your belt, and here it is. It looks really cool and feels solid. Remove this to uncover the axe blade, and it feels really sharp. And the other side we've got a hammer. Squeeze the handle and remove the tail lock, and we can open it up to reveal pliers and a wire cutter. It's a great multi-tool for camping. The axe is handy to chop some firewood, pliers are always useful for a whole range of things, and the wire cutters work nicely too. And the hammer can be really useful to help knock your tent pegs in if the ground's really hard. But there's also a whole load of other tools which fold out of the handle, like this hex wrench and bottle opener. There's a small wood saw, which is pretty useful for cutting through thin branches. There's a file, a Phillips and a slotted screwdriver, and of course a knife. This one is really sharp and useful for all sorts of things. I used it to carve a point on a stick to make a peg. Now in this day and age, it can be quite nice to take a few creature comforts with you when you go camping. So I want to try out this. It's a DAB portable radio. You can get it in a few different colours, but I chose the yellow, and it looks and feels pretty rugged. But the reason I chose this radio is because it's wind up. That's right, you can just wind up the handle to charge it up. How cool is that? And not only that, there's even a solar panel on the top, so we can charge up the internal battery straight from the sun. What's more, there's a handy little light under the panel here, perfect if you want to light something up when it's dark in your tent, and there's also one here at the front too. Oh, that's bright, all powered from that internal battery which we can manually charge up, and if we press this yellow button, it activates an SOS alarm in case you're in trouble. Here we've got a USB power output and a headphone jack, and also a charging point so we can charge the battery fully before we head out on our adventure. There's a pull-up aerial on the top, and because it's a digital radio, there's hundreds of radio stations available, with the option to save some in presets as well, so they're easy to find. It's a great accessory to take out with you camping. You can listen to some music as you're setting up your tent, or chopping some firewood, and you can use the USB power output to charge up your phone or other devices. Now, have you ever seen one of these before? It's called a Kelly kettle. Lift it out of the carry bag, and it's this rather peculiar looking design. The bottom part comes off, this is the fire base, and we're left with the kettle, which you can see is completely hollow right down the middle. You can see all the way through. Remove the cork, and it's a double-walled water chamber. So this is how we fill the kettle up. It creates like a water jacket around the entire inside of the kettle. If you're filling it up ready prior to needing it, you can push the cork back in and just keep the water stored inside the kettle. So to use it, place the fire base down on something sensible, making sure it's level, and you can use some sticks or bark or cones to make yourself a little fire. And once it's going nicely, sit the kettle on top. It acts a little bit like a chimney, with the air drawing in through the base. Do make sure the cork isn't fitted when you're heating it. If you need to, you can add some more fuel down through the top, then leave it for a few minutes, while the heat from the flames transfers to the water. And to accompany the Kelly kettle, I bought one of these. It's a nice rugged stainless steel camping mug, but what's really cool is the handle is a carabiner, so it's ideal for clipping onto the outside of your backpack. And once we've got hot water, I'll be making a cup of tea. But if you want to store a hot drink for later, how about one of these travel mugs? This one's a really cool design. There's actually a button in the lid here which you need to press, which allows you to drink, so it keeps the hot drink securely inside when you're travelling, but it's really easy access to take a drink, and there's even a lock so you can't press the button by mistake. If we take the lid off, the flask is a decent size, and you can see the clever mechanism inside, which even opens out like this to give you access to clean. I love the design, and it comes in a whole range of different colours and even different sizes. Once the Kelly kettle started to boil, you can see the water inside bubbling and the steam coming out. The whole thing is extremely hot, so you do have to be careful the way you handle it. And what's really cool is we use the chain at the back to tip the kettle up for pouring. It would definitely be far too hot to touch, but what a satisfying way to make a cup of tea. And if you've got any hot water left over, you can just pour it into your travel mug and store it for later. And here you can see how the valve works when you press the button. Pretty cool, huh? But to help with cooking food on my camping trip, I decided to try these 4-in-1 camping utensils. This is a box of 2, and each one comes in a little carry case. There's a strap on the back for attaching it to something. But let's take a look at the item. So it kind of looks a bit like a Swiss Army knife for cutlery. I'll unfold the fork and, check that out. But Oh wow, they actually separate. So you've got a fork and a spoon which you can use together. That's cool. And if you need a knife instead, you can fold the spoon back away and there's a knife which unfolds out to the handle. There's even a bottle opener on the back. This is actually a really cool set. It feels really robust, and I do like the way they lock together. I realised that the lugs lock into place when you close the fork shut. It locks the other half in place so they can't separate. Another really clever design, and a handy all-in-one utensil, a knife, fork and a spoon, perfect for food preparation and for eating. But I also wanted to try out this classic, the spork. Apparently these are made in Sweden from a bio-based plastic, and it's a really simple, lightweight design. This pack came with a yellow and a blue one. There's the spoon on one end, and a fork on the other, with a small serrated knife down the side. So it's pretty much all you need to eat your food with. Ha, what a funny design. Have you tried one of these sporks? And once you've finished your food, you might want to try using this. It's this flat board, which you can actually use as a chopping board for food preparation, but push down in the centre and it transforms into a washing up bowl. How cool is that? And it's a pretty decent size. There's even a little plug hole in the corner. Fill it up with water, and it's perfect for doing a little washing up. You could even use it for washing some clothes. And if you are staying away for a while and need to do some washing, this thing is really handy. It's a 1.8 metre elasticated bungee with a whole load of clips on that you can space out however you like. And it's the perfect washing line for travelling. You can just wrap it around a tree, or hook it onto something, and it can stretch up to 3.6 metres long. Adjust the position of your hooks and it's ready to use. It's strong, lightweight and extremely portable, so it's so handy for travelling or camping. The next thing I want to try out is these. Open them up and unwrap one, and they're these really cool LED light bulbs. It came as a set of 5. They're all different colours, they're also waterproof and they look great. You just unscrew the back here to access the battery cage, and each one takes 3 AAA batteries. So you'd need a lot of batteries if you were going to use all of them, but they should last a really long time. Slide the cage back in and screw the back on. Then just press the button to turn it on. There's 2 different brightnesses and a strobe. It's got a really handy little carabiner on the back to hang it up from. And having a few of them is really useful, so you can just leave them up outside or in your tent. I hung this yellow one up in the top of the tent, and it gives a nice ambient light across the whole of the inside, and it's really handy being able to leave some up outside to illuminate the surrounding area. But in case there's any smaller fiddly jobs that need doing when it's dark, I decided to buy these. Rechargeable glow gloves. Take them out. There's a USB lead for charging. There's one for each hand, of course, and they look quite curious. On the top part here you can see an LEDs mounted, and there's another one there. And I guess this must be the battery box. And to wear them, you just slide them over your index finger and thumb, like this. That's quite cool. Then wrap this part around your wrist, and there's a Velcro strap. It's pretty comfy, to be fair. You barely know you're wearing it. And if we press this little button on the top, ha! There we go. Light at my fingertips. Because they're stretchy and adjustable around the wrist, I think they'd fit pretty much all adult-sized hands, and oh, this one isn't turning on, so let's give them a charge and try them when it's dark. And with them both fully charged, check that out, that's really cool. If I need to read or plan something, the light is right there where I point my fingers. It really does light up exactly where you need it to, making it perfect for fiddly little jobs if it's dark. And what's great is it doesn't restrict your fingers in any way. You've still got 2 hands free because you don't need to hold a flashlight. Now if you'd like to see some other really cool camping gadgets for campfires, like this one that harnesses the power of the sun, you can click on the link here. Have fun, stay safe, and as always, thanks for watching.